Harry Serra, who was my dad, came here from Melbourne in 1939 with Hanson Yuncken to build the Bank of New South Wales, corner of North Terrace and King William Street. Came home one week in 1960 and announced to all and sundry that we were going into business as a family. Dad, me, Neil and Uncle Mock. I was just terribly excited by the whole thing, and if you look at that photograph of me standing on the site shed out there with HF Serra and Sons builders, you can see by the look on the face.
It just felt exciting, and I'd always been excited by the building industry. I love to see buildings get built, and that's still the case. I mean, I used to drive my kids mad on Sunday afternoon. We'd just drive around and look at buildings.
My view of life was bean making, Neil's view of life was bean counting.
The vision that Don and I had was that we would develop and maintain a medium-sized family company in the industry in South Australia.
Very early in the piece, in fact, our second and third jobs were two Woolworths stores, one down here at Torrensville and the other was at Semaphore. Those two stores led us on to about 20 stores around the metro area, including a bit of work for them in Port Lincoln. So from about 1979, roughly, until the end of the 80s, we had a quite thriving business in Port Lincoln. I elected myself chief in charge of that. That got me a trip to Lincoln once a week.
My earliest kind of exposure to construction was as a little kid wandering around on sites. Dad got us access onto the construction of the highest tower in Melbourne at the time. So again, we're up on the something 20th floor with no guardrails, no fall protection. So that's kind of my start of my story.
Gosh, my version of the story. Well, I guess it starts with what I can remember as a little kid. I knew that there was a business that involved building stuff, and I'd get taken around on Saturdays to building sites with my dad. Tim and I came into the business in the early 1990s, and it's been an amazing journey.
The boys are running a very, very major organisation, and I think and doing it really very well. I said to Neil recently, a bit worried about those two boys. He said, why? I said, I think they're having more fun than you and I did. He said, do you think so? I said, well, I hope they are. I'm pretty sure they are.
I still remember on the first sort of formal day, caught up with Tim and James in the morning, and James said, see, this is what it's like. Here's the keys. It's all yours. And it's been like that ever since. So the autonomy that's afforded to me, working off the business itself and the foundation, the great family values, has just been fantastic.
I used to get up in the morning. I loved to go to work. I was first there and Don and I were last to leave.
I would love the business to continue on into the next generations, and that's certainly the conversations that we have with our children, that it is a great way to live a life.
Family's everything for me, and I'm sure you've had the same answer from everybody else. And of course now we're getting ourselves set to start to engage with the next generation.
Tim and James have gone through a process where they've got to see the transformation of the business. They've then stepped into quite active roles and had to make some difficult decisions. But for them to then have the maturity to go, well, it's not about us. In order to get better, we need to bring the best people in, and how do we best support them is actually a very mature business approach.
Coming from where we came from, what I'm particularly proud of is that James and I have grown and created a strong, vibrant, viable business. It is a beautiful thing.
I think that we've created a presence, a good thing that people see and recognise, and as I say, it's just been a lot of fun.
So for me, it's all about, well, how do we make sure what we've built here can survive past my time and those of us that are in leadership positions in the business, and the people that come in that trust their career with Serra, what can it provide for them that it's done for so many over the last 6, 10, 15 years.
I see myself as a protectorate and a custodian of a living, viable culture. People work for their team, for themselves, that they work for the person who's beside them. And our staff are fortunate, and me, not as a technical builder, are so envious of The people who can say, like this building here, I built this. I can look back on this. I can take my grandchildren past this school that I'm building and say, I did this with my colleagues and friends, and it was a magnificent time. I was given the opportunity to be as good as I could be as a professional builder. That's my vision, to create that place.